Good morning, everybody. Welcome in on this glorious Sunday morning to the lab. Got a little bit of a pre-recorded show for you guys. Just taking a little bit of a weekend off to go out there to Louisiana to see the man that's always next to me here in the lab, Mr. AJ Connor. What's going on, man?
How's it going?
It's good,
Got that
good. Made sure
you
that
got
your
that
sound is
post
on
game
this
super
time.
Hey, I appreciate it. Got that post game Super Bowl hangover going on, I guess. Not me, but I'm sure Stafford's still feeling it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Matthew Stafford for his performance in the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's a sad day right now in the lab. Football season's officially over. On to the offseason, but this is when it gets fun, the drama. But what a way to kick off the start to the offseason. Much deserved game winner or game winning drive from Mr. Matthew Stafford, and he celebrated like no other, man, dude. But the videos that are surfacing of him at the Super Bowl parade are just awesome, and I love even more that he's sipping on that Don Julio 1942. That's the one that we're fond over here in our household. So I was pretty excited to see him carrying that whole bottle. Maybe put some ice on that though. It'll be a little bit better, cooler. You know what I mean? But
I don't think he had a worry in the world about that being hot or cold.
yeah, at a certain point, once he got to about probably where he was at in that bottle, it just probably tasted like straight water. Didn't need a
Uh,
lime. But I love how he was just, I didn't even know it was fourth down on the play. I feel like a really bad player. Um, and then I'm just damn happy to be up here.
well, you can tell when he starts talking, he starts like rambling. It doesn't make any sense, and
Mhm.
then he kind of gets into it, and then he's like that drunk face kicks in, and he's like, Aaron Donald over here, and
Yeah.
Cooper Cup's my boy.
Yeah, I love that he
You can tell
managed
he
to
was,
shout out the squad during it as well. Like he is the one
yeah,
that when he goes out with his boys, he's like, "You're my boys." You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like he's a good time for sure. I'm glad to see him having fun. And to be honest, man, this may be a tradition I think that needs to be started here in the NFL. Last year, Super Bowl parade, Tom Brady's drunk as hell, throwing the Lombardi Trophy from one boat to the other, walking, around the corner. You can clearly tell he's drunk as his security's kind of escorting him to his safe ride home. And then this year, same thing. You put a microphone in front of Matthew Stafford, he turns into Fratty Stafford, and it was quite funny. I think they should always continue to get the quarterbacks drunk and just put a microphone in front of him from now on at every Super Bowl parade. I think that's
Where
tradition.
where where would you rather have a Super Bowl parade in Tampa or LA?
Oh,
Because that Super Bowl party out on the boats looked pretty awesome.
I would have to say Tampa Bay. Just strictly from, I don't know if you listened to McAfee's show on Monday, but he was talking about L.A. and he was like talking about walking through L.A. and he's like, "There's shit on the road. You gotta like navigate around it." So like, I would say Tampa would probably be the better spot. I haven't heard about that. And to your point, on the boats, dude. Um, yeah, a boat. I've never been on a boat party before, but I can imagine it would be awesome, especially after you win a Super Bowl.
Well, all they had to do was go to the hundreds of beach towns in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand
mean,
that. That is true. Why would they go
like
marching through?
go to Newport Beach or go to Huntington Beach. Like Newport's got all the boats. Like I went to this past summer at 4th of July. I went to a boat party, like a boat parade. Like I was paddle boarding, but there was a boat parade for the 4th of July celebration, and it looked awesome. I got really sunburnt that day, but it was super cool. Like just go an hour away, and it's way more fun than downtown LA or wherever they were.
Yeah, 100%. Um, big big boat guy, boat party guy.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. No, I can't. I don't
I'm
make
just
that
playing.
kind of money.
Dude, I wish, man. But dude, agreed, man. They could have had it in a lot more fun place, but it's not L.A. It's not L.A.
Yeah,
But
right.
dude, shout out to them though. What a game though. Let's actually get into the game, man. Matt Stafford manages to win. Drops back 40 times to throw the ball. He's 26 of 40, 283 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also managed to throw 2 picks. Um, I mean, how do we think about his performance? I mean, the 2 picks. I think without the 2 picks, that's an MVP performance from him. But those 2 picks really set them up in a bad spot. But I mean, they managed to find a way, and I think it was really on that defense, man.
Yeah. I mean, this is something I alluded to last week, and something that I've noticed about Matt Stafford is he's a high risk, high reward guy. He's going to throw interceptions. He led the league in interceptions this year. Well, tied for leading the league in interceptions. So I mean, he had a couple of drops that shouldn't have happened, like in clutch situations. When Odell Beckham went down, the guy that was basically filling in his slot had a couple drops that were like, oh no. I thought that the Bengals had it in the bag. I thought even the end of that game, I thought the Bengals were going to drive down and win. But somewhere in like the third or fourth quarter, I don't know what happened, but the Bengals pissed off Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
And once they piss that man off, like there's nobody, like I couldn't imagine. It's like unleashing a lion out of a cage. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
that
And
guy is
smelling
more like
blood.
a damn grizzly bear, man, and just
Yeah.
like, and not the cute cuddly
Whatever.
ones you see on the Charmin commercials. Like, just an absolute freak of nature. And what pissed him off was at the very beginning of the third quarter. Um, had the craziest, I feel, opening minute of second half
Yeah.
football in Super Bowl history, I feel like. But anyways, like Joe Burrow was running. He was a couple yards still in bounds. Aaron Donald gives him a good shove,
Oh
really
yeah.
close to the
That's what it
sideline.
was. Yeah.
But my thing is like he was still in the field of play when he shoved him. He was still a good 2-3 yards away from the sideline. It got a lot of attention because it was in front of the Bengals sideline. They all got in his face, started grabbing on his face mask and shit. Basically a little scrum, and kind of like hockey whenever they get around the goalie. And then all of a sudden, dude, Aaron Donald's on fire, just starts bullying the offensive lineman, and it became the story of what we've been talking about with their offensive linemen, all year, is how they don't protect Joe Burrow, and that's ultimately what the game came down to. But that first minute of the second half, I want to go back to that. I don't know, like I looked up, so I was still outside. I was coming back in when the second half started, and Ashley was like, "Yo, the Bengals just scored," and I was like, already, like the game, like it just started. And that's whenever T Higgins got away with the most obvious hands to the face mask ever, where he yanked Jalen Ramsey's head off his shoulders basically. Then you come out very next drive, I maybe the first play, I don't know for sure if it was the first play, Stafford throws one of his picks.
Yeah.
And then Joe Burrow boots out to the side. That's when he gets in that fight, or they all get in that fight. And I'm like, man, this is. I looked up and it was like 13 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter, or in the third quarter still. Only a minute had passed and all that happened. Insane how that first half kicked off, man. Or second
Well,
half
and
kicked off.
and what was crazy about that game is there were like no penalties being thrown at all. Like there were no
Mm-hmm.
flags on the ground. And then at the end, they're calling, holding call. It didn't even make any sense. Um, Also, though, like Burrow put his team in position to win at the end. He had a great play downfield
Hold on one
with
second. Hold on one second. We got a little bit of connection issue. Let's let it catch up real quick. What's going on here? I think we're good. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
all right.
Yeah, much
I
better.
mean, they had that play downfield with Jamar Chase, right? So they get down the field and then stalled out.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, and there was a couple plays where it was like, you could have made a play. You could have made a play. Like P Ryan or whatever his name is, didn't even go for the ball. Like he just
P
reaches
Ryan.
out a little bit further, dives for it.
Yeah.
Might not be an issue. Like and okay, 3rd and 1, I get it. You run the ball and you get stopped because Aaron Donald's an absolute monster. And then guess what? We get sacked. Like what? Why are you running plays downfield? Get a quick out on that. I mean, just drop back and bang. Like go to that inside receiver, do something. Give the give the receivers a chance to catch the ball. Don't let that ball stay in his hands. He already had an MCL injury at that point where I thought he was done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean Burrow did.
Yep.
And you let Aaron Donald be a game changer in that whole thing. And that's why I thought that Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow they weren't going to win the MVP of the Super Bowl because of the way that the game kind of looked. It was like there's something else within this. Like to me, Aaron Donald was the second choice for the MVP next to Cooper Kupp.
Oh, 100%.
He may not have made every amazing plays, but he changed the game in his own way, like by himself. And I mean, Cooper Kupp obviously coming out with clutch plays as always was pretty incredible.
Which is exactly what you talked about last week. Like last week, I remember you talking in the show. You were saying, Cooper Kupp, he's the one that he makes those big plays in the big moments. He did against the Bucks to advance to the conference championship game. I mean, he's been coming up in big spots all year long, and he did so in the biggest of games with 2 touchdowns. Although I will say, like, Cooper Kupp, while he did play a phenomenal game, if Odell doesn't get hurt, I think 2 things happen. I think, one, this game is not close. I think the Rams had the upper hand before. Even though what didn't reflect on the scoreboard per se, I believe that the Rams kind of had the edge when Odell Beckham was still in. And then I also think Odell would have ended up being the MVP had he stayed in because he had already gotten 1 touchdown. Had a feeling he was going for a second one.
So the thing about Odell,
and technically he threw for 1 as well. Or no, that was the Bengals that threw for 1. I take that back.
Yeah, Joe Mixon threw for a touchdown.
I saw an old Odell highlight the other day where he threw 1 in. That's where I was getting mixed up.
So Odell, the thing with Odell and the thing with that touchdown right off the bat, it let the Bengals know, hey, like, okay, not happening again. So yeah, I mean, Odell might have gotten open for a couple more plays, but I don't think he would have been a game breaker because the Bengals had already adjusted to that. Like he got burned once right at the beginning, which great on the Rams to expose that, but doing that so early, it's like showing your hand early. You know what I mean? It's like tipping the pitcher off. Like you may get me with that first curveball, but the next inning, you're not catching me with that curveball again. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. It's like, okay, you showed it to me. All right, we're not gonna let that happen again. And everybody's giving Eli Apple crap because he just kept getting burned on different plays, but nobody's talking about how Jalen Ramsey got burned on plays. Like minus the 1 touchdown, I understand that we probably can't count that one because he got slung to the ground. To be fair, though, you have to play it back to see the face mask. So watching it in real time, I didn't know it was a face mask. I thought that Jalen Ramsey got tied up in his feet and fell. Just the way he fell was real strange, But then you watch it. Obviously, he threw him. But
dude, it was bad.
Even so, I think Jalen Ramsey gave up 160 yards, like the most ever in his career.
He definitely didn't have a good Eli Apple. Yeah, well, everybody's talking about Eli Apple because he was getting burned as well, but he got done absolutely dirty on that no-look pass from Stafford. Dude, that was like. It's funny because being a Packers fan, I've seen Matthew Stafford play over the years, and I know how good he can be because there's been a reason why games against the Lions and when the Packers have played them have always been notoriously close games. I think 1 or 2 seasons ago, the Packers beat them both times, but they didn't lead for a single second of either game. They won on last-second field goals. So that's the dude could ball, and now he's finally with a good team surrounded by good players, and he's doing it. Obviously, he gave up the 2 picks, but that's just sometimes you're at Stafford, and then also your Super Bowl. Do you want to leave it all out there, and if you throw a pick, you throw a pick, or do you want to go home with a damn? I should have made that throw. What if Cooper Kupp would have came down with that one, or one of his picks too went off the hands of his receivers, so I wouldn't say it's too much on him. I feel bad for Burrow, though, man. That dude played out of his mind, too, I feel like. 263 and a touchdown. Um, and then I felt like he played pretty well. All things considered. To your point about Jalen Ramsey, though, on that final play, I think if any other MVP were to go to anybody, it would have to be Aaron Donald, just strictly for the final play of the game. And that's because Jalen Ramsey's ass was burnt on that play. The only problem is Joe Burrow didn't have enough time to see it and throw it. Aaron Donald doesn't make a play, they're either in field goal range
or touchdown.
Possibly, most likely, he's to the house.
Jamar Chase? Was that Jamar Chase?
I don't know who the receiver was, to be honest with you. But regardless of who Jamar it is, Chase probably to the house, though. Probably to the house. And then look at the receivers, man. They had good games too. Like, it's 100 yards for T. Higgins and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase 89 yards. I mean, they played well as well. Uzma,
Jamar,
he didn't really get involved too much. Tyler Boyd had about 5 catches too.
Well, Uzama was on a pitch count.
I didn't realize he was on a
because
I figured so. He was hurt before going into it, but
he was hurt. They said he's going to play about 20 plays.
Gotcha.
So to even get any production is probably pretty impressive. But sure. To be fair, T. Higgins probably should have had about 60 yards and 1 touchdown.
Nah.
that old slinging Jalen Ramsey was pretty
I think if the Bengals do hold on to it, though, I think Joe Burrow did make a case to be the MVP of the game. But if not, to be honest with you, who was I high on last week? Joe Mixon. I told you he'd be an X factor. 72 yards on the ground, and then he hits that halfback pass. And, dude, when that hit on that prop bet for that, I was losing my shit when I saw him. He tossed it, and then all of a sudden he pulled up. I was like, oh, they fucking passed. And then he scored on the pass as well. I was going absolutely insane. But wife and kid were looking at me like I was nuts. I had no clue what was going on with it on how big of a deal that was, just because the fact that I called that more than 2 of them. And not only that, but the Rams did the shit too with Cooper Kupp. He just didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Just sucked. He can't throw the ball like Joe Mixon can.
Well, the game was actually a fun game, and it capped off a great playoffs. Like I look 100%. Back and think about it, I'm like, man, I don't know of another playoffs that I really enjoyed that much.
Yeah.
I mean, even the championship games, they didn't live up to the divisional round, but they were still awesome. They were still good games. I mean, come back from the Bengals, and the Rams just shutting the door on the 49ers was pretty awesome. So I 100% enjoyed it, and there's plenty of drama following the Super Bowl. Not with the Super Bowl teams, but with all the teams surrounding.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of drama going on. I mean, between the Cowboys and a weirdo video and the cheerleaders, and then you got Aaron Rodgers is. He separated from his fiance, which I don't know how that's even news.
Well, that's big news to us. Aaron Rodgers plays better when he does not have a girlfriend, fiance. When he was with Danica Patrick, he played like dog shit. And they split. MVP, bro. Then he got involved with this girl. He still managed to keep his MVP, but it makes you wonder, would we be Super Bowl champs?
Well, and two, like, where, what is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Is he going to stay in the NFL? Is he going to stay, active, or is he going to retire?
Here's my theory. You ready for my theory? It ties into him calling off his engagement. He's engaged to Hollywood hotshot actress chick. I don't know what she's in, but she's in some shit that apparently people know, right?
Yeah. So, I've seen her in something.
He told her at last offseason when he created all this drama, hey, we're engaged. I'm going to, I'm going to relocate teams to a California team. We're going to stay here because this is where you work. And I could do all this and start a family, all that stuff, right? Gets to Green Bay, has a killer season. He's like, man, I'm having too much fun. He tells her, hey, cancel those plans. I'm staying in Green Bay. and she gets mad, calls it off. It's a good sign for us. He's coming back to Green Bay.
You know what movie she was in? Have you seen Divergent?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know if I've seen it, though.
Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. She was in all 3 of those movies. Excellent movies, by the way. and then um, she was in The Fault in Our Stars.
Solid play.
So she's all in the rom com or the rom com. That's like a sad romantic movie. But so
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, like he's probably like, man, it makes sense what you're saying. She might be the reason why he even thought about retirement.
Mm-hmm. Or
I
leaving Green
mean,
Bay.
but you think about like when he talks on Pat McAfee, all he talks about is how much he loves it,
Correct.
and then she's like, well, I'm going to split up with him because he loves football too much. Well, does that tell you that he's probably going to stay in the NFL?
Yeah.
Because he probably made his decision.
I don't think it's that he
And it's
likes
like,
football too much. I think it's that he won't relocate to a team closer to there. You know?
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Where does she want? I mean,
He could go
like
be the QB for the 49ers.
I think the only place that makes sense if he doesn't stay in Green Bay is Tennessee.
Yeah, but but Tennessee's already came out and said, no, we got our guy. Like, but do you think that they're just saying that shit because they don't want Tannehill to get his feelings hurt during this time, just in case the odd chance they don't get
I
him?
You put Aaron Rodgers on Tennessee, and
They
they're an
win this.
instant
They
and
win
an
5 Super
instant
Bowls
Super
in a row.
Bowl. They're the instant Super Bowl favorite.
Well, yeah, dude.
Tannehill,
You could
they're a
hand the
divisional
ball
round favorite.
to Derrick Henry over and over and over again, and then when they load the box, play action it to Rodgers, and
It's not even that
it wouldn't
crucial.
even be
Like
fair.
you instantly
And you got Julio
extend Derrick.
Jones, AJ Brown.
Well, you extend Derrick Henry's career by 4 years by putting Aaron Rodgers back there,
That too.
because instead of throwing the ball 25 times, you're going to throw the ball 35 times,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 10 less carries times 16 times 17 games. That's 170 carries over 4 to 6 years. That's a lot of carries off of his back.
I don't see it being a good fit though because of Vrabel. To be honest with you, like Vrabel seems very like
Controlling.
strong-headed, controlling, which is everything that Aaron hates about Green Bay right now. That would be like the
Yeah.
only thing that I could see it not being. I could see him going to Pittsburgh, not for the weather, obviously, but just due to the fact that they're primed to win right
Tomlin.
now, in my opinion. And Mike Tomlin seems like a cool ass coach to play for. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I think all signs, all everything points to him staying in Green Bay as long as they can. I mean, we already know they're going to franchise tag Devontae Adams.
hmm
They already said they're going to give Aaron Rodgers the biggest contract in NFL history. Um, which, I mean, they say he's going to be the highest paid quarterback, which means he's going to have the biggest contract ever. Maybe not as large as Patrick Mahomes' contract, but like year to year, it might be bigger. You know what I mean?
hmm
Because they look at that two different ways. Like they look at it like, well, Patrick Mahomes got a $500 million contract, but his year to year is not as much as what they're probably going to pay him or whatever.
hmm
So they'll probably pay him 3 years, 48, $49 million a year, and whatever bonus. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers gives two craps about it because it seems like he invests his money decent. I mean, I know he's into crypto stuff, so who knows what's going on with that. But
to the moon.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and so, anyways, just like kind of going off of it, like the NFL did so well this season. I think personally, like just the parity in this season was so interesting. There were so many things that went up and down. We didn't know who. Like I said, besides really the Packers, that nobody was very consistent.
hmm
I said this last week, but the Super Bowl showed that. And yes, the Rams were the favorite and they ended up winning, but it wasn't a blowout.
hmm
It wasn't, you know, this game where you thought, well, the Rams are going to freaking win. You thought, well, man, the Bengals have the momentum now, and the momentum shifted, and then it shifted back, and it was awesome to watch.
I think it was a good game too. Like just great cap to the end of the season. To your point, man. Obviously, I feel like I gave no credit to any of the defenses last weekend. Talking about both teams putting up 40 points, and I was looking forward to like action packed offensive shootout game. But to be honest with you, I think was even better than that because it was a dogfight all the way through the game. and just these little moments of greatness here and there popping up. And that's what shaped the game, which is what's awesome. And to be honest, I just think it's even cooler how it ended the season because you end with a 3-point game, 23-20. Both conference championship games were decided by 3 points. In the divisional round, only one game was not decided by a margin of 3 points. And that one was only a touchdown game. That was the Chiefs and Bills in overtime. And even more on that, let's change the damn overtime rules. That game was electrifying, and we as fans got robbed to see Josh Allen go out and match Patrick Mahomes. And, people talk about, oh, defense got to get a stop. That's part of the game too. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But
they just ran sprints, 100-meter sprints, down and back, down and back,
yeah,
down
it's
and
all
back.
yeah.
And you expect them to go back out there again?
Correct. Yeah, there's
Got a chance their offense to.
Yeah, there's that, and then on top of that, okay, their defense should get a stop, but at the same time, if the defense gets a stop, well, guess what? The other team's defense still gets a chance to get a stop too.
Yeah, and my whole problem with it, it's better than what it was before, where he's like, you just go kick a field goal and win. But
yeah, that was
for the
bullshit.
So leave the overtime rules like they are in the regular season. I think they're fine. But when it comes to the playoffs, you want to know who exactly is better. Give them a shot. There shouldn't be any time limit. There should not be quarter breaks, anything like that. It should be you start at the 35-yard or the 30-yard line or 25-yard line. You don't even get kickoff.
Touchback
start at the
rule
25-yard line. Yep, start at the 25-yard line and drive your ass down the field. You get a field goal, the other team gets the ball. They got to either get a field goal or score a touchdown. If they don't, the other team wins. If the other team gets a touchdown first, guess what you got to do? You got to get a touchdown. If you don't, you lose.
Now, question here on this. Now, when they score, or if they don't score, say they hold them the fourth down, right, on the first team's go. And they have to punt, does the other team then have to flip to the 25 and go from there, or do they start with where they had to punt from? If not, then we're into 4-down territory everywhere except for field goal land, which I think makes the game. I think that makes that really exciting because it's a risk-free fourth down if you really think about it. I mean, the only risk is that they intercept it and take it the other way. But so I think that would be badass so start them both at 25, college style basically, and you go until the death at that point. Yeah, it's not good for the no, it's still good for the kickers. The kickers can still win glory,
but not for the punters.
Yeah, well, sorry, Pat.
Should have picked the wrong.
Should have been a kicker.
Position. No, but yeah, I think that would be really cool. But I think it'd be fun to watch.
That would be awesome. But just back to even more of the games, even back to the wild card round. All the games were close then too, with exception of the Rams kicking the shit out of the Cardinals, with exception of the Chiefs going in on the Steelers, and then obviously the Bills dog walked the Patriots. All the other 3 games were close. So 50% of the games in the wild card round were close. Every other game was either 6 points or 3.
Well, and with that, you even add more to the drama, the Cardinals. You see, everybody's wigging out that Kyler Murray unfollowed the Cardinals from his Instagram.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if there's any substantial anything to that, but they I mean, people wig out about dumb things. He might have been just upset or whatever, but it looked like he quit that last game. Looked like he stopped playing.
Yeah, I agree. And dude, I've lost a lot of respect for Kyler Murray in this. It's so you got to think about it. This dude from high school through college, because let's go to high school, he wins state, every year that he plays, basically, which in Texas is a huge thing. He played at Allen High School, where they have a college state or a high school stadium that's bigger than some D1 college stadiums. And it was a multi-million-dollar project. He plays there. They're sponsored by, I think, Under Armour or Nike, and just killing it there. Goes to college at OU, kills it there, wins a Heisman, Gets drafted, number 1 overall, right? Yeah. And then goes to the Cardinals, has some success here and there, but not really too much expected of him of yet, so not really a lot of high expectations. Then when he finally gets to those point of high expectations and he caves to the NFL pressure and finally faces a little bit of adversity, dude's
Let's
calling it
quit.
quits. Like,
Yeah.
that's not my quarterback that I want to roll into battle with, man. Like, I really like the guy up until I still, I mean, I don't know him personally, obviously, but like I still think he's a very talented QB. But if I had my pick out of QBs, he's not who I want to roll into it with, even though he can do it all. Because just that right there, he'll sell you out in a heartbeat, and you don't want that lack of loyalty in your franchise. That's a potential to be cancerous. You can't be the quarterback acting like Odell Beckham. Like Odell Beckham acts like he does because receivers can afford to be divas.
Yeah, and I mean, the good ones aren't, but I mean, and some of the good ones are. Like, I mean, you had Terrell Owens, who was a diva. Randy Moss was a diva. Odell. I mean, a lot of them are, but I mean, the good ones aren't. I mean, a lot of the good ones aren't. I mean, you think about like Cooper Kupp's not a diva. You think about Devontae Adams is not a diva.
Mm-hmm.
You think about those guys that they play and they let it ride. They don't act all crazy, and they seem to have more success.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Evans isn't a diva,
Well,
and he's a freaking monster.
people want a team first guy, you know?
Yeah.
Um, it's just how it.
And if your quarterback is that way, like, ooh man, like, come on,
Mm,
like, let's not. Hey, by the way, I got an update for you. Luka's got 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in the first quarter right now.
dude,
Dude
baller
is out
alert.
there ball. Sorry,
Little alert
sorry, I
out
had to
there for you
update
guys.
that.
Nah, it's good. We're just so everybody that is listening is aware, we're about to be transitioning sports a little bit, getting a little bit of basketball coverage in here. Some NFL offseason drama going to be covered here because
Oh,
obviously got to keep
draft
up
for
with that.
sure.
Got the draft will come up eventually. We still got NHL hockey. If we'll cover that a little
and
bit.
and
Um,
hopefully, I pray that we get to watch baseball spring training, but it's
yeah,
not
it
looking
is.
too hot right
It
now.
is not looking good. Not looking
I
good.
mean, pitchers and catchers were supposed to report either next week or last week or something. They were supposed to report, and they're not going to. Um, but spring training is coming up. Hopefully, we get to watch that. If not, we'll hopefully get to watch opening day, and then March Madness will be coming up here in a couple of weeks. Well, probably about a month. We'll start all that craziness, so that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sports coming up. I really hope the baseball figures it out. I do not want to miss out on baseball.
Yeah, I'm
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 actually like super
I'm
pumped about baseball season right
yeah.
now. Like especially
The
for
Rangers.
the Rangers. Just in general, I am because my it's one of those like I kind of like baseball's always been one of my favorite sports. Always has. Always will be. I don't always watch it because it can get a little bit boring from time to time. I'm not for speeding up the game though by any means. Like I'm very much for letting the game occur how it should. It is baseball. It it needs to be played the way it's supposed to be played. There shouldn't be any fucking you know shot clocks on the pitcher or the batter to get in the box, whatever. Like, no. Now, obviously, if it's getting a little crazy, the ump can say, "Hey, step into the box, son. We're playing a game here, right?" But like let it just flow is what I'm looking at.
I,
But
I'm a proponent for less games. Like
yeah, I mean, I could see less game.
162 is a lot of
It is
games.
a lot, but like it also is what affords the MLB to be able to pay Mike Trout the giant contract he has.
Yeah.
So like without that, the teams can't really pay. Like, I mean, because you've been to some of these games, right? Like in the summertime when it's 25% of the seats are sold, and like not that many people are there because it's a Thursday night game or it's a Tuesday night game or something like that. Like, and or half the stadiums they like. So I mean, it helps them to have more games. I also like the 162 because I just as like a baseball like I enjoyed it in its purest form, and I love the grind of the 162 game season. I think it puts every team to the ultimate test to make it. And let's face it, like the games really are their version of practice. If you really think about it, like during the season, they'll take BP during the day in the cage before the games and shit like that. They're not really practicing that much during the season. I mean, they are on their off days a little bit, but not much. But I hope they don't keep this locked out long, man. And
I would love to go to spring training this year. Like I went a couple of years ago. As now several years ago, probably 5, 6 years ago. It was
mhm.
awesome. I got to see them play the A's
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Josh Hamilton. It's like all the all the players' wives were like sitting in front of me,
Yeah.
and they were talking crap about each other. It's like they were talking crap about the coaches and stuff, and I thought it was pretty funny. But um, that atmosphere is the best. You got
Yeah.
like 150 people in the stands. It's 72 degrees in Arizona. Like that is baseball to me.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to spring training. I've never been. I want to go though at some point, and it definitely will happen. A guy I went to high school with and I played baseball with in high school was on the team with us. Every year he would miss like a week of the season because his family would go to spring training for a week. And like it sucks that he missed the games and everything like that, and he bailed out on his team a little bit, but I didn't hold it against him because I would have done the same damn thing if I had the opportunity
Yeah.
for that. Like to go to spring training, like I remember like people used to always be like, man, like skipping out on the team, like, fuck you, dude. Like I'm going to spring
Yeah.
training. But man, I'm getting really into baseball, back into baseball even more right now because the kiddos starting to get into it, coaching the little Rockies. That's why I got the Rockies ball camp. Know what I'm saying? That
Hey, shout out.
we're a pretty solid 5-year-old t-ball team. May put together a championship run. I'll keep us updated as well on the show with that.
I love it.
but
No, hey, but great. I mean, great football season. Couldn't ask for a better season to jump back on the podcast. Hopefully, stay more consistent with that.
mhm.
More consistent schedule coming, especially next year. I'll be definitely be on this every time. So,
Yep.
I hopefully have a better Cowboys season. Hopefully, have a better Packers season for you. Um,
Depends
maybe
on
maybe
this
we'll
off
see an
season. Depends on this off
may-
season.
maybe we'll see an NFC Championship game, Cowboys Packers. That would be awesome to watch. So
Yeah, I would be down
I'm
for it,
excited.
especially even if it comes to Dallas. I mean, I'm all for home field advantage, but to be honest with you, home field advantage has not treated my Packers very well. Let's go on the road next year. Let's just get, what?
Yeah.
Let's get a wild card spot. Fuck it, let's clinch a wild card spot, and then we will literally just rest the rest of the season. Um, the Vikings can have the North. We'll let them have their home field advantage. We'll try a different approach next year.
Hey, you're gonna have a new offensive coordinator.
That we will. We will.
Hackett's
Hey,
going to the
we
Broncos.
got the special teams coordinator of all special teams coordinator and
Versace.
Bisaccia,
That'll
you
be
know
good.
what's crazy too, man, is something I've noticed like anytime the Packers like sign anybody at this present time or whatever, it always comes back to Aaron Rodgers somehow. Like I'm looking at like just like topics, like I always look at topics for us to talk about. And it's like everything is like, oh, Packers hire this person. He's a Aaron Rodgers favorite. Or they hire this person. He's an Aaron Rodgers favorite. And it's like, oh my goodness, not every decision they're making is because he may or may not stay right now. Some of them are just making because they're good decisions. Like for instance, Tom Clements, the QB coach. Aaron Rodgers there or not, that's a good QB coach to have, so I don't know. It's just funny to me how everything's tied back to him. I think we should have it. We'll probably hear his decision here soon. He said that he was going to be making it quickly.
Before the draft, right?
Yeah, I think he said way before the draft.
No, no, he said before
I
the
think he
combine.
said, I think he said, but I thought he was said before the end of February, but we're getting pretty close. I maybe March, but like he needs to make one soon because he said that he understood the sensitivity of like the timing of everything right now. Like you've got Devontae Adams who's like up, they got to decide if they're gonna tag him or try and give him a big deal. They've got various players that are up. They're just gonna, if he sticks around, they're gonna have to do some massive restructuring to be able to stay under the cap, do a lot of maneuvering and stuff. Or does he go? I mean, or does he retire? I think that one of two things is gonna happen here. I think he stays, or I think he retires. I don't think he goes anywhere else.
I agree.
And I would honestly, at this point, not be surprised if he retires.
The thing is, if he goes anywhere else, it's not his decision.
Yeah, correct.
It's the Packers' decision.
Correct.
And they already said they're going to offer him a crazy amount of money.
I mean, he can become a problem though if he goes somewhere he doesn't want to go. He just say, "Okay, you want to trade me? Fine, I'll just retire." Well, I don't want to go there. I'll retire. Yeah, that's what he was threatening in the offseason too. Was like, "Hey, if you don't do X, Y, Z, I'm going to retire."
I think if they they'll tag Devontae Adams.
I think that's happening regardless.
Yeah, they'll tag Devontae, and I think he's gonna stay or he'll retire. Like you said, like I don't see him going to Denver. I don't see him going to. That's like wishful thinking and analysts being like, we want more ratings, so let's talk about Aaron Rodgers for the next 6 months,
correct,
and not act like we didn't just chastise him for the last season. So
I honestly wouldn't be. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I honestly won't be surprised if he retires. I've got like this weird hunch that that's going to be his decision. And like the reason why I think that is because one, he's been very reflective this year through his like Aaron Rodgers Tuesday stuff on McAfee's, pitching books about being in the moment now. And then, he seems like was very much living in the moment last year. Like maybe he already was thinking that this may be his last year type situation. And then lastly is just, to be honest, looking at him like with not his pads and stuff on, he can move and do all this stuff with the best of them, but he looks damn old.
It's the long hair.
He has aged a lot differently than Tom Brady has aged. Like,
if Aaron Rodgers cut his hair and shaved his beard, he would look a lot younger.
I don't know, man.
if Tom Brady doesn't dye his hair and grows a beard out, he's gonna look old too.
Yeah.
Like when you're 45, you get grays in your hair, and Rodgers doesn't dye it.
Yeah, Rodgers doesn't give that just for men on it or whatever it's called.
If Tom Brady, I guarantee Tom Brady's like, this perfect. Dude's got gray hair, just like every old man. He doesn't have the fountain of youth. He does look great for his age, but he looks a little old too. You can see it in his face, wrinkles in his face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just Father Time is undefeated, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, his arm still looks great, which is all that matters, and Rodgers' arm still looks great. There's no decline in the athletic ability. I think I'm with you though. Like I think he reflected a lot this season, but what throws me off is the engagement. Like what do you do when you're single? You're like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do all these things. And then what does a football player like him do that already does all that? He's going to go play football and beat the crap out of people and make people forget about the COVID season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
completely agree. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't be surprised, but I just get this weird feeling, and maybe I really hope I'm wrong. But man, this offseason is going to be a little crazy looking at like some of the free agents coming up. But like one of the free agents that I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about that I'm kind of excited to see what happens. And that's just because I've seen him play against the Packers so much with the Bears. That's Mitchell Trubisky. He's back up as a free agent, and he tore up the Bears. There are some places that need quarterbacks. You think he lands a job somewhere?
Not a starting job.
You don't think so? What about down in Houston?
No.
I would, with the way he played against the Bears, it makes you wonder, because at one point he was not a bad quarterback. Did Matt Nagy have something to do with how bad he played? Because whenever he played against Matt Nagy, he beat the hell out of him. He only got one play this season, but I don't know. I'm just scrolling through the list, and that name just really jumped out to me because I know nobody gives a damn about Mitchell Trubisky, but
I think the biggest
Cam Newton's up too. I'm curious if he goes somewhere.
I think he's done. I think the biggest question mark of the season is going to be, or not biggest of the offseason for quarterbacks, is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. People are like, I don't think he's that great, but they're talking about him in Indianapolis. They're talking about him in Pittsburgh. Talking about him in Denver.
I'm over
He's
Jimmy
not
G
great.
shit.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but that's the biggest story. And then like, does Kyler Murray ask for a trade? What's up with Deshaun Watson? I keep hearing his name sneak out there. What's
yeah,
up with
Deshaun
Russell
Watson.
Wilson?
What's going on? What is the status on Deshaun Watson's case? But
I mean,
like,
he hasn't been convicted of anything, so it's like, how do
but
you?
it's all still pending. So it's like, do you wrap yourself up in
That's what
that?
I mean. So this offseason is going to be really telling. And then, what's the status of Kyler? What's the status of Russell Wilson? We keep forgetting about that.
Mm,
That's a possible. What about Tua? Does Tua stay? I mean, the owner already freaking, and the owner may get forced to sell, by the way, of the Miami Dolphins,
really?
because yeah, because he tried to get Brian Flores to, he was going to pay him a bonus check of $100,000 for every game he lost on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, that's
there's
right. I heard about
investigation.
that.
Yeah, Brian Flores said, "Hell no, I wouldn't do that." But I mean, it looks kind of sketchy when you go 1-7.
And then you
Um,
also don't bring that up until now when they're jumping on the
yeah,
hiring practices train right now, which we'll stay out of that. I love sports, but we'll stay out of that conversation. But
yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like, Brian Flores deserves a job at some point,
agree.
um,
Agreed.
but like, the fact that he got fired was blew my mind, and it's obviously the owner, but like,
Yeah.
is that owner forced out because of stupid? Like, you should never tank on purpose.
No,
Like, if you
100%.
like, there always like a thought like, okay, let's just not win this game. No, they want to win every game. It doesn't, like, you see the Lions, how freaking fired up they were
It's
to
bad for
win.
football whenever you do this because one, it fans start losing faith in the purity of the sport being actual any given Sunday. Is it really any given Sunday? If you're doing that type of stuff, and then on top of that though, you've got gambling involved with the sport, so you get really big issues there of like, oh, you're losing on purpose, and then like people know you're losing on
Pete Rose
purpose or
type
something like, yeah,
situation.
you end up with that type of situation.
Well, and
um
now that sports books are such a big part of the NFL, like,
Yeah, they're official sponsorships now, like with the NFL, and you
I'm
know,
glad they finally embraced that, though.
yeah,
Forever they were like all weird about it, but now
dude,
they're like,
it
okay,
it
let's make it.
it was much needed, man. There's no reason why you should be one. It helps to keep somewhat gamblers somewhat responsible. Like FanDuel has like it. I don't know exactly how it works, but supposedly there's something that is built into their like app that if you start gambling in a way that you don't normally do, like it kind of like triggers it to where they kind of like, I guess, put you in. I don't know if they put you in like a cool off period. I don't know the details of it, but basically they kind of save yourself from yourself, so you don't go put your mortgage down on it or stuff like that. But also too, like they make sure you have the money up front. You have to put the money in to be able to gamble it, right? Versus back in the day, you could go to a bookie and say, "Hey, man, I want this," and then the bookie could stretch the odds to crazy odds, and people are going to be taking them. And then when they lose and can't pay, now there's a safety issue. This dude's gonna. We've all seen Hardball with Keanu Reeves.
Great movie, by the way. That's a real story.
It's a real story.
Yeah, it's based on true events.
I did not know that. It's one of my favorite baseball movies. I did not know it was based on a true event, but I do know that, or true events. One of the best baseball movies, hands down, hands down.
Let's see.
Not the
Hold on.
best, but one of the best. My favorite, but I know in the general consensus of things.
I got you right here. Based on Daniel Coyle's book about a magazine editor coaching a youth team in Chicago Cabrini Green projects,
Huh.
the film takes a true story and drags it through a swamp of hyped up Hollywood cliches. Reeves plays Connor O'Neill, not an editor, but a gambler in debt for $12,000.
Gotcha.
It's a true story.
So it was based on people that actually like were good Samaritans, and they made that good Samaritan into a gambling degenerate. Is what happened. And he's gonna be so
Yep.
mad. He's like, man, I did all this good stuff for the community, coached this team of kids that were struggling, and we had all this good. We did really good, and then unfortunately, one of the players just something happened to him, and it killed us. But we won the championship for him, and all this. Like, and they come out and make me a damn gambler.
Yeah.
That tries to hook up. That tries to hook up with their school teacher.
Yeah.
He doesn't try. He does. He does.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely adds like an element to the whole offseason and drama, and I think the NFL is playing along with it. You notice like lately the NFL has come out less about things. Like I felt like 3 or 4 years ago the NFL was commenting on everything.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the NFL is real quiet. Like Roger Goodell doesn't say anything. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He gets booed everywhere he goes, but they don't like comment specifically on things anymore. I think that's really smart. Let the teams, let the players dig their own graves.
Yep. Let them do that.
And let the law, let the system of the law play out before you make decisions on people.
Correct. And also just stay out of it too on that type of stuff, because if you don't know and you stick your neck out on something that you don't have all the details on, and then you end up being wrong, then you look like an idiot, and that's why people boo you everywhere you go. Like,
well,
and so
the Tuck rule and the Deflategate thing, like, you heard about the Deflategate thing, right?
Yes, yeah. Recently, well, I know that Tom Brady and the Patriots deflated some balls.
No, so apparently I want to get my facts straight, but basically the NFL only didn't forget how they explained it, but the NFL didn't test all the balls that were played that day. So it was assumed that all the balls were deflated, but they only tested one out of the 12 that they played with.
Gotcha.
So there's like this whole thing that's going on about that. And then you've got the Alvin Kamara situation, which recently just brought in hold on, this is crazy because I saw a meme that was like Alvin Kamara something, hold on. Yeah, so NFL's Chris Lammons arrested for being a suspect in the battery case. Chris Lammons is he plays for the Chiefs. He's a cornerback, and he's actually like a decent corner.
Was he a Pro Bowler this year too? That's why he was in Vegas with him.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if he was a Pro Bowler, but
may just been out there partying, having fun. The way McAfee explained it on his show is that's like a spring break type situation for the players.
It absolutely crazy, and so I guess like he had a warrant out for his arrest, and he turned himself over. But this situation is looking really bad. Like it's like a Ray Rice 2.0, or not Ray Rice, but Browns running back. What's his name?
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt type situation.
But did he hit a girl? I thought it was just some dude.
No, it was like his boys. Somebody was talking crap to his boys or something, and he decided to pummel somebody.
Jeez, I haven't seen the actual video yet, which I probably need to watch, seeing as we have this show here. It'd probably be nice to know about this shit, so that way when we talk about it, I know about the situation. I just don't know exactly what happened. I heard that maybe he was like they were in an elevator. The guy tried to get in the elevator with him, and then he was no.
So Alvin Kamara. It says Alvin Kamara is seen in shock video punching victim repeatedly as man shares horrifying injury on Instagram.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, dude, his face. He got.
Yeah, I think they said he broke his orbital bone.
Yeah. Police say he never hit anyone back. Yeah.
I just want to know what else happened leading up to it.
He claimed the victim made a disrespectful comment to a member of his group, which included his girlfriend, his assistant, and a couple of friends. The Saints player claimed Green called one of his friends ugly, and they later said, "I'll whoop your ass too." Kamara alleged he saw the fight break out next to him, and that he later punched Green as he believed he was trying to get away.
Oh, that's so bad, and that sounds like such a horrible recollection of the
Green was
story.
allegedly punched or stomped on at least 23 times during the altercation.
Dude, you can't do that shit.
But
Like, and
but
if
he was kicked by multiple people is what it sounds like. So he got
he
into a
got,
fight he shouldn't.
yeah, he
He
got
got
it.
gang beat.
They jumped the dude basically. Like they they took a. It's one thing if it's a fair fight and like the dudes were talking shit, which it sounds like that's maybe what was happening. Like maybe they got into a little bit of a running of the jaws
Arguing.
situation between both of them. They got carried away, and but then they all got in on the fight instead of it being a one-on-one altercation. And they
It
jumped the
became
dude.
a
I still don't think it's gonna be as necessarily. I think he comes back from it. Obviously, if Hunt comes back from, kicking a girl, then and all these other dudes get all these chances. I think he'll come back as well, depending on like what happens legally though. Like, I mean, I don't foresee him seeing like any like jail time for this, but I don't know the actual. I don't know if like the crime that they're gonna charge him with for this. Like, I don't know what the minimums are. Like, if he is guilty
well,
or whatever. But I would assume he's
I,
gonna take some type of plea deal.
I assume he'll plea out of it, and then he's gonna pay 10 to 15 million dollars to this dude. This dude's gonna have a heck of a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah. He picked a really good person to get his ass beat up by, and
I mean, I mean, he has a broken orbital bone, which
yeah,
is no bueno.
yeah. That's gonna be rough coming back from. Um, I mean, it just, yeah. I mean, there's no room to do that. Like, I mean, I get it if people are running their mouth and like maybe like a fight breaks out,
But
and
back off,
but
man.
but but
You're in
like
the spotlight.
but one, you shouldn't be fighting people anyways because you're like you said in the spotlight. You play in the NFL. You gotta realize who you are. You know what I mean? And then the second thing though is like even if you are gonna get into a fight, like at least make sure it's a fair fight. Because like to be honest with you, if he just got in a fight with a dude, I'd probably have no problem with it. You know what I mean? Like they're both two consenting individuals that maybe just ran their mouth too much and started fighting. But when you start, jumping a dude, everybody's kicking him while he's down and all. Nah, dude, I'm not with that. That's not cool. I'm curious to see what happens with him, but we'll move on from that. Dude, another free agent that I'm looking at as we scroll down, another QB coming up, Jameis Winston. Um,
Yeah.
he looked good before he got hurt.
To me, I don't see. I don't know. I don't see him leaving the Saints. I mean, I can imagine the Saints re-signing him, but like I mean, yeah, he's better than Jimmy G is. He's better than Cam Newton.
Yeah,
I
out of
mean,
those
if he
options.
doesn't get signed, I can't imagine. Like, I mean, he's better than a lot of starting quarterbacks are. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but New Orleans will probably. I can't imagine New Orleans not signing him again. I mean, why not Indianapolis?
Yeah. I
Why
mean,
not Pittsburgh?
yeah. Why? Yeah. Oh,
Um,
Pittsburgh would be. I feel like that would be a good landing spot for him. And
Mike Tomlin out there being a good coach, and
yeah, exactly. Um, who else? Hell, even in San Fran, but they got Trey Lance there already. I think when they move on from Jimmy G, it's gonna be Trey
this
Lance's
be Trey
time,
Lance. Yeah,
and he's gonna be given a shot. You don't draft somebody in the first round and never give him a shot. You know.
I think Trey Lance is going to turn that team into something that it's going to be kind of scary.
I think so
The-
too. I think so too. I think
uh,
that he's got a chance of like while Jimmy G is not a great quarterback, he's a professional at the end of the day who learned from Tom Brady, and so in turn, Trey Lance is getting a little bit of a benefit of some lineage there to learn behind. Um, I think that he's gonna be. I think he's gonna set the league on fire when he gets going, especially with Debo
well,
Samuel to throw to, and
well,
and then
and even he's mobile
yeah, exactly. He can run. He can
with
get.
that offense.
And then as good
You
as
run
their
a trick
defense
option.
is, like, dude, if they had a quarterback that was worth the damn,
They win
that
the Super Bowl.
game against Green Bay wouldn't have even been close. We wouldn't be talking about a block punt. With the way Green Bay played that game, they only scored 7 points. We'd be talking about how great the 49ers QB played and all that stuff. Like if they had probably Trey Lance playing over Jimmy G, in my opinion.
Well, maybe not this season, but in a couple years.
Well, like if he played all season, and they had
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he got him to that point, which I don't know if he would be able to do in his first season. But at the end of the day, Jimmy G didn't get him to that point either. So I mean, Trey Lance could have got him there, or even further. I think because if you, just in my opinion. But anyways, he to your point, he's gonna tear it up once he gets his shot out there. If you're the 49ers, it's time to move on. Get rid of Jimmy G while the iron is hot. Strike while the iron's hot, man. He right now people are overvaluing him, I think, which could land you some good picks here in the future.
Well,
Offload his ass.
I think he's I think he's not on contract anymore. I don't think they can trade him.
Is he not? I'm looking at their unrestricted free agents. It's
He's not one of them.
No, they got left guard, cornerback.
So yeah, trade
Raheem
him.
Mostert's a free agent for them. They're
He's
losing
been
a lot.
hurt
They got a
all
lot of
season.
guys coming off the defense. I don't know like if these guys are like starters for them or not, but we got quite a few of those. Jimmy says they do say about Jimmy G's contract. Tomlinson is the top priority for at guard. So they could be losing their left guard, Lake and Tomlinson, this offseason.
He's really good.
They've got Jason Verrett, who's expiring. One of their corners. Yeah, and then let's see, revamp of their secondary in the free agency and draft. Fortunately for the Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo's contract may be off the books. How's it off the books, though? What do you mean by maybe?
I don't know what that means.
We'll have
Maybe
to do
find out
some
more
investigative journalism, and we'll let you know. We got all offseason to figure it out. But I think if you do have him though, and you can trade him away, now is the time to do it because people think he's good, better than what he is because of how far they got. They didn't do it because of him. The Bucks, they're gonna go back to being the Succaneers next year. That is going to be a complete turnaround. Bruce Arians going to have his hands full next year. Obviously Tom Brady retired.
They got rid of Jameis Winston.
Yeah, no more Jameis Winston, who's now playing phenomenal. Hey, maybe back to Tampa for Jameis. Maybe another shot for him. Nah, he's not going back to there. I think
They burned that bridge.
That was a burnt bridge for sure. But not only are they losing Tom Brady, they lost Antonio Brown. Listen to their unrestricted free agents, though. You ready for this? Chris Godwin, Jason Pierre-Paul, their center Ryan Jensen, Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette, Carlton Davis, William Golston, Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard. They signed Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones II, their other running back. They ain't gonna have no running backs. Giovanni Bernard is also up. Rashard Perryman's up. Dude, I mean,
they're gonna sign some of those guys, re-sign them.
Well, yeah, but that's a lot of guys to re-sign, and they don't have a lot of cap space. Their projected cap space is $3 million. They're gonna have to do some hopping around of the salary cap, I'm sure. But that's a lot of guys though that are up, it seems. And does Gronk go back to Tampa? Does Gronk keep playing now that Tom Brady's gone? I don't know, man.
I think he might, but I don't know if he'll play for Tampa.
I don't think he plays for Tampa. I could see him playing again though. Come on up to Green Bay there, Gronkowski. Come play with Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Keep me in the South.
Yeah, he seems like he wants to live somewhere nice. Gronk would seem like the one that'd be like, let me go play in Vegas and just party all the time.
Or Arizona, maybe.
Yeah, dude, Vegas is going to have to be speaking of Vegas, that's going to be a place where like only like responsible players and coaches can like go. You're going to have some willpower there. They got in so much Vegas got people in so much trouble this year. Obviously the Henry Ruggs situation, I don't want to make a joke about that because someone died, but like his career over. Then you lose in the first year, then you lose
Your cornerback, who is
Yeah,
legit.
same thing. And then you lose your head coach.
Um,
Then you go fast forward to the Pro Bowl. I know this didn't affect the Raiders per se, but then Kamara and the guy from the Chiefs, they get in some shit. Dude, Vegas is not a good place for those that do not have.
why'd they stop doing the Pro Bowl in Hawaii? Is my question.
I don't know. I think they're just doing it to kind of like cycle things around a little bit, get some exposure
I
out. But
love. I,
I,
I
but
if I'm a player, I'm like, let's go to
I
Hawaii.
think they should have kept it in Hawaii. To be honest
Heck
with you,
yeah.
they should keep it there because, like I was saying a minute ago, like when I heard McAfee talking about it, because he made Pro Bowl quite a bit. I don't know if he made it a lot or just once as a punter, but so he got to go. He said it's basically like a spring break. He's like everybody's boozed up. He's like everybody's hungover during the game, basically. Like he's like it's a party. It's like spring break. So like you would think you would want to go to.
Well, and why not do that at the end of the season? Like, I know that they moved it to the middle. Like, do it at the end again, man.
I
Like,
wish they would like after the Super Bowl stuff like that. Like I get the Super Bowl is a good cap and a good end, but like I don't know, you're missing some of the best players because you do it before the Super Bowl. You know, I'm also honestly I'm all for just getting rid of the game completely. To be honest with you,
just do like skills
skills
competitions and stuff like that.
competitions and like an award show where they get to come up and talk about their shit. Like I I don't think that like the game sucks, man. The Pro Bowl game
They don't
sucks.
do flag football.
Yeah,
Have the change the Pro Bowl roster to the All Madden, All Madden team
yeah.
in remembrance of Madden. Rest in peace. And then do fun competitions. Do bring back the throwing competition.
Mm-hmm.
The long distance throwing
Dude,
competition.
I wish they would bring
Do
back the long
some
distance. I'd love to see Patrick
do,
Mahomes launch one like that.
do
Like,
some, yeah,
dude.
exactly. Do some and Josh Allen too, man. That would be a cool one.
Yeah, I forget about him.
Um,
Yeah,
do some 7-on-7 type stuff. And get players that aren't necessarily in the Pro Bowl involved. Get the legends involved. Do a just retired versus you know current players type things. Have fun with it.
yeah,
Stop this. The Pro Bowl game was like patty cake. It wasn't fun to watch.
yeah. I would
I didn't
agree.
watch it.
I would agree, man. Dude, I was more entertained going and watching the Friday night football games that I went to here in the town, and nothing on them. They're fun to watch, but it's high school. And then that's more entertaining than the NFL Pro Bowl where these guys like they won't even like tackle each other. They won't go to the ground. Like it's like, dude, I get everybody's worried about getting hurt. It's a lot of money on the line. You're not going to do it for an all-star game, but dude, come on, man. Like
Well,
it it's damn near embarrassing. Like don't even do it at this point.
don't we get the USFL next year?
We do. We do. It is there is a team out of Houston. That's the closest team. There's another team in New Orleans as well.
No Dallas team. Like, oh,
No
come on.
Dallas team. They revealed them the other day. They've got six of their eight teams have red in the color scheme. Let's diversify a little bit here, But
We need to get the XFL back. I think they're coming in 23.
yes, I hope so because I would get them Renegades. So there's the Birmingham Stallions, the Pittsburgh Maulers, the Tampa
Terrible.
Bay Bandits, the Houston Gamblers. The Houston Gamblers the name Gamblers doesn't make sense to me considering the fact that gambling is illegal in the state of Texas. It's kind of weird to me.
They should have
Uh,
done something with space.
maybe they're getting ahead of it because they know it's eventually going to be legal to gamble on sports in Texas because
That's,
it's
but the league's not gonna last more than 2 years.
yeah they're trying to be like it even says like look at this dude like on their Twitter it says can you see it fine maybe
Yeah, yeah,
it says like we hit the jackpot with like little
yeah,
like
yeah,
slot machine stuff on it like and then they've got like one of their other promotions says pocket aces like dude it's
yeah.
not even legal to gamble here what you doing.
It would make sense for Shreveport.
Yeah, like that would maybe be good for the New Orleans team, but New Orleans is the Breakers, I believe. It's like a wave is like their logo.
Oh, ooh. That's kind of dicey, right?
A little dicey considering the fact that Katrina rolled through there like a mere 15 years ago. Uh,
And a hurricane comes through every year.
yeah, a little insensitive with that, but hey, you're from the city, I guess. If you know, you know. You got the New Jersey Generals. I like that one a little bit. It just doesn't make sense with New Jersey. With the
Yeah,
Jersey Generals.
I don't want to. Gross.
You have the Michigan Panthers. I think I like their colors. They got like the Florida State color
Michigan?
scheme. Yeah,
I guess they
Michigan.
figure the smaller communities
Yeah, I
might
think
have more support. I don't know.
maybe so. I don't. Yeah, New Orleans Breakers. Um,
So you said that one already.
yeah, I'm just going down the list. The Philadelphia Stars. Jack and my Dallas Stars. Shit, get out of here.
Stars.
Their stuff looks ugly. I do not like the Philadelphia Stars stuff. Look at that, dude.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, stop. Well, we
It
just need to
looks
get
like
the
they got a
XFL
bunch of
back.
college interns to do their jersey and logo designs for them.
The XFL I thought had good jerseys and I thought it was cool.
I do
It
too.
was
I
fun to
like the fact that
watch.
they had McAfee's ass down there interviewing players on the sidelines as they're coming off off the field.
COVID, the only reason we're not seeing the XFL is because of COVID.
Correct. The XFL I feel like was being very successful. They because at that time you had two leagues that tried to come. Remember, it was like the AFL and then you had the
The
XFL.
AAF.
Yeah, the AAF. That's what it was. The AAF lasted like 3 or 4 weeks and then folded. Apparently, they had like some shady shit going on with the investments of it, from what I heard. Um, but you had that. But the XFL, they didn't. The AAF tried to compete with the NFL. They were playing during the NFL season. Like, who's gonna watch that when you've got NFL games? Like,
And college
and
games.
college games. So the XFL, on the other hand, play it in the spring, and people were tuning in. I watched the games. Like I watched the
Same.
Renegades game, and then I was watching. I think it was the Guardians up in New York because of our boy old Luis Perez. Straight out of
Yeah,
Commerce.
yep.
But
Yep.
you know. I was paying attention to the league a little bit, and I really
Same.
I'm excited for them to be coming back if they are. I'm
The
somewhat
Rock
excited for
invested
this
in
new
them.
league. I don't think this new league's going to be as exciting. I'm not hearing much about them. Like XFL, they brought the noise. They brought like rule changes to the kickoff. They brought because remember how they would like put the people all the way down basically at the other end, and they couldn't move until the ball was actually fielded or whatever. You could go for
And they
three.
and you go for three. They had the Xbox controller where they could zoom in and real
Yep.
time updates to
The
penalties and things like that.
Yeah, what is it like the Hawkeye technology or something like that?
Well, and then yeah, exactly. And then they were playing into as a feeder league to the NFL.
Right. It was one of those they know their role and they played it well, you
I
know?
mean, there's a few people that played in the XFL that are now in the NFL, like PJ Walker
Yeah.
and
It revived a
those
couple people's
guys.
careers.
Yeah.
And
So I hope that the Rock was a big investor in the new XFL. So hopefully, you know, him
yeah.
understanding like promotions and stuff will be really big.
Yeah, cuz he promoted the hell out of the Super Bowl. And one thing that we haven't talked about the Super Bowl that we almost completely forgot. Halftime show, bro.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
awesome.
it was at that moment that we all realized we have now became our parents. Because
Old.
exactly. Because think about it, when we were kids and they played stuff on the halftime show, what is this
Like,
for old people? Of
terrible.
course, my mom loves this. Of course, she does. And then
Paul McCartney on
yeah,
there.
it's like gross. Like I don't want to listen to this. Like I want something good. And then they tried to sometimes spice it up by throwing like Black Eyed Peas in there or whatever that one year, but like which was the one in Dallas. Shout out. But
Shout out.
but
But the Black Eyed Peas were dead at that point.
yeah, they were kind of they had surpassed their height, I feel like.
I
But
mean, they had just hit that like the height and then they stopped.
yeah. But then but for the most part it was like older like the older generation, right? So we're like, man, like finally they got them for young people. We like it, and then I realized that my daughter's like somewhat into it, but not really. And then I'm like, oh, we're the old people now. This music's for me because I'm the old one now. And it was a little bit of a passing of the torch, I feel like.
I didn't realize 50 Cent was going to be in that. Did you?
He was not supposed to be, or he was a surprise, I guess. And, dude, the internet stayed undefeated with 50 Cent.
But I loved it.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm not saying like he did bad. I was so fired up when I saw 50 Cent pop up. Like, I was like, is that 50 Cent? But I will say at first I didn't quite recognize him because like he did gain a lot of weight, and when he was hanging up upside down, his face was kind of like smushed a little bit. So I was like, is that somebody doing a cover of 50? And then I was like, no, that is 50. And like I've seen 50 Cent in concert before when I was in high school. I went to a Fall Out Boy concert, and he was surprisingly one of the opening acts. He like filled in like last minute. One of the bands dropped out, and I guess that's all they could find. It was completely random. Wasn't expecting it, but I was so excited about that. But anyways, he when he dropped down, I was like, oh, it's 50. But I said the same thing as everybody else. Like, damn, 50 got a little big,
Yeah.
But
hey, that was, I mean, they're comparing when he did in the club, 20 years ago.
He was our age.
15. He's 15 years ago. I mean,
yeah,
a long time. I don't look like I did when I was 15 years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've seen people say that you didn't look like that either. But I've also seen people, this is what 50 Cent looks like after inflation. Like, that one had me wrong.
Yeah, and like everybody's like, the jokes are like, he's a whole dollar. I'm like, y'all are dumb. Be creative. Yeah. We've heard that 100 times. Come on, guys.
I think the best
recycling the same dumb jokes.
What I like is that he's a good sport about it, because there's been a couple people coming out like, oh, 50 Cent may not see you body shaming, but your friend with issues does. Like, and it's like, okay, like we were just
calm down.
Relax, But like, I love the fact that 50 Cent was a good sport about it, because he shared on like his Instagram the picture that somebody took of from his original In the Club music video when he hangs upside down, and they replaced him with what's his name from D12. What is the fuck? It's gonna kill me. It's the real fat guy in D12.
Yeah.
The one that's like in one of his songs he said, told me to do sit-ups to get buff. Did 2.5, couldn't get up. What is his name, man? I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna look it up real quick. It was Bizarre.
Yeah, Bizarre.
So they took, instead of 50 hanging upside down, who was like chiseled like crazy at that time, they replaced him with Bizarre. And he shared that picture, and he said, who did this? And it's weird because, like, since I've been seeing all this, a lot of his videos have been resurfacing on my feed of just, like, him in interviews. 50 Cent's low-key funny in a lot of his interviews and shit. Like, he says a lot of funny stuff.
I don't remember him being... I thought he looked decent because I saw him in... he's been in a few movies.
Yeah.
And he didn't look bad. I wonder if that's COVID weight.
Maybe it is COVID weight, but to be honest, I don't think he was... They say the camera adds 10 pounds, right? And then also, too, though, like, he was hanging upside down. Like, I mean, all of his, like, face and weight was just, it's gravity, right?
And to be fair, he wasn't wearing anything that was very flattering. He was wearing a white wife beater.
Yeah, he definitely went back to the old... He went back to the old school on that and wore his old attire for that one. But, man, dude, what a show, though. And then, like, Snoop Dogg was awesome. And, like... Supposedly it was rumored that, like, I don't know how true it is, but it was rumored that they told him that he couldn't wear like a blue bandana out of his back pocket or whatever when he was on stage. So if you notice, his whole outfit was a blue bandana instead. And like, everybody's also like, there's not everybody, there's some crazy people out there that are like losing their minds over the fact that he was caught smoking weed right before he came out.
But it's legal in California.
Exactly. Like so he would, like, how like they had the stairs going up that he came out. So like there's a photo that surfaced where he's like this. He's like real quick on it or whatever. That. And then going up, and people are like losing their minds. They're like, and people are like, it's legal there, and it's Snoop Dogg. Like, what do you expect? Yeah. Like, he smoked weed with Martha Stewart and on a cooking show. like on
Yep.
Food Network. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
Like, you know what to expect. But moving on from that, like, Dr. Dre was awesome. And then, like, just, I mean, he was
Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem, dude. When Eminem came out, because I was like the
I
entire
was
time,
pumped.
I was like, when's Eminem coming out? When's Eminem coming out? Because, like,
And he only sang one song. I was like, come
yeah,
on. Mary
well,
J. Blige cut hers in half and add one to Eminem.
so like
and I
with
would have been
Eminem,
happy.
he did like one and like a little bit of the chorus for that Dr. Dre song he was on.
Well,
'Cause
they all did
'cause
the chorus for the Dr. Dre song.
No, well, I'm talking about whenever he first came out. Got something to say when it comes about Dre or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how he came out, and then it like cut off. It was like, "Ooh,"
Yeah.
and then he did the Lose Yourself. But I will say though, out of all of them though, everybody may have done more songs than him, but they did
His was the
snips.
longest.
He did the full song, and
I could have gone for like my name is what? My name
Yeah.
is, and then
I
would've done
would
that.
yeah. And see, like the thing is with that song, like they should have brought him in with that song. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what I mean. Yeah.
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
only like the "My Name Is" part, I don't think like
And
they
then
would have been able to.
and then go to Lose Yourself.
Yeah, because like they wouldn't have been able to do that full song. I don't think with like all the like.
Bad crap in it.
Yeah, like I mean, even if you edit the curse words out, like the shit he's saying is I like it, but I mean, I don't know if everybody.
You can't put it on national TV.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly, and then
even though every kid has seen it.
Yeah, and then I noticed they edited some of the parts of like certain songs for people, but even then it was still good. Like I mean,
I loved it.
But yeah, it was badass halftime show. I hope they do this every year, and it's so funny because you see all the people that don't like rap music, and they're all like, next year they should do this, and it's like an all country lineup, and it's like I agree with you, but like why are you like wait until after like the rap concert to say this? Like it not a good look, partner. But
and
maybe they
Kendrick
will
Lamar,
when it's in Nashville. This was in L.A. They're gonna pick the music from that culture, which is West Coast.
And Kendrick Lamar was so random in there. Like I was like.
So
probably,
my thing with like Kendrick Lamar is like they couldn't have picked a better song for him.
Yeah, why did they pick that song?
Like I love the song that they started with because they started with Mad City.
Yeah.
Man down. Like that one, I was fired up when they did that. Then he went into that. What is the name of the song that he was doing? I've heard it before, but it's a weird one, and he looked weird. And there was one meme that I saw that was awesome about it.
Where he's little.
Yeah, he's in the back at the end, and he's dressed all weird, and he's looking goofy, and it's like Kendrick Lamar looks like the little brother that your mom made you bring along so you could go out.
Yeah.
And it was so true. So true. But
Love it.
But
well,
fucking awesome ass Super Bowl though, man. I mean, definitely I'm already ready for next football season. It sucks that we got to wait till then.
7 months.
7 months, dude.
But we got the draft in there, so that
draft.
consumes.
You got Aaron Rodgers news. Aaron Rodgers news. Got some other players moving around. Coaching changes. We'll see what happens with the Brian Flores situation.
It'll be fun to watch.
Should be fun. It's gonna be a good off season, and then we got the other sports going. But a couple things going with the pod. Maybe get a little bit kind of switch some things up as we're going. Y'all listen to us. Make sure y'all comment some ideas on what y'all want to see on the show. We're gonna be desperate for content probably during this dry spell of sports.
It's gonna be a Luka. It's gonna be Luka match.
You're gonna hear us talking about Luka, Dirk, and how much of a baby LeBron is. All right, that's all you're gonna hear. And then you're gonna hear me curse every time the Stars lose, and talk about how we should re-sign our old coach, even if he does have problems with alcohol. He is repented. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Let's get out of here, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. Till next time. Peace.